Previously on 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
Just
playing with the mannequins.
hello, doctor.
Hello, Mr. Doctor.
And now back to the escape.
Hello.
This is NicoB, back with some more 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
When we last left off, I pretty much just made a big loop-de-loop and came back and found Ace chilling out, eating some chips, watching a football game. And now it turns out we have all the keys to, I guess, go wherever the hell we want to go. Hopefully, I mean, the one thing is, when we showed that cutscene at the beginning of the game, it showed the ship out in the middle of the freaking ocean, didn't it? Like, so even if we do get out of there, like, what are we gonna do? Like, dive into the ocean and be like, all right, now what, guys? All right, I guess we'll just let's swim that way for a few hours. Hopefully, no sharks come over and eat our legs off. I don't know, but we'll worry about that later. Anyway, Junpei and June head for the elevators. Sure enough, there's a car rear bolted to the wall next to the left elevator. Hot dog. Line up the Saturn key and swiped it through the card reader. Woohoo! Line in the upper corner, left corner, blinked to life. Great! Looks like it's working now.
Alright, now how do I call the elevator?
There's a single button to the right of the elevator door. Well, there's that one. On the button was the upside down triangle, the universal symbol for down. There didn't appear to be an up button. Damn, I don't want to go. I don't want to go further down into the ship though. Junpei pushed it. Didn't have much of a choice. Going down. Reminds me of freaking Ribbon.
It opened.
I like it. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, isn't that what we were trying? Why are you so shocked by that?
Look, Jumpy! Look!
I'm looking. I'm right here. I didn't. June's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety. Sweet, it opened. Let's get going. He grinned at June and stepped toward the open door. As he was about to set foot in it, he felt a hand on his arm.
Oh, wait!
What?
I'm not really, I just, oh gosh.
Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? Was she claustrophobic, maybe? June was probably afraid of... they could only go down, being locked up alone with a boy. Oh, I gotta see this reaction to this. After a little thought, Junpei decided that she had to be a little nervous about being locked up in such a small space alone with a boy. In a way, it was kind of cute. Very demure, you could say, he thought. Still, even though it wasn't exactly room in the elevator, they weren't going to be pressed up against one another. At least they didn't have to be. Still, it was making her nervous. Junpei couldn't help but think how innocent she was. Come on, let's go. Again, he stepped toward the elevator. Again, he felt himself restrained.
I said, wait a minute.
Why?
Are you afraid, Jumpy?
Afraid of what?
Well, I've never, you know.
You've never been in an elevator with a man alone before? Hey, it's alright, alright? This is your first time. I'll guide you, alright? Don't worry. I'm only gonna grind up against you just a little bit. It's only gonna be slightly sexual, but nothing more. Even though she still seemed awfully alarmed. I'm like, oh my god.
I might get wet.
What? Oh my god.
Jumpy, are you okay?
I'm having a heart attack. Oh my god. This is so awesome.
Down there, I get soaking wet, you know.
Well, I mean, of course you would. That's the way it works. Oh my god. I mean, I've never heard of anyone getting soaking wet somewhere else. This is...
That's true. You don't mind?
Mind what?
Getting wet?
Well, I don't know. I think I'd probably, you know, like it.
Gosh, Jumpy, you're so brave.
Really? I mean, I kind of think any guy would do the same thing, you know? What happens, right? You get the chance, you just gotta go. You just gotta go for it. That's what a man's supposed to do.
You're so cool, Jumpy. I really admire you.
Yeah. He's like, yes. Oh my God. Somehow I'm saying all the right things. I don't know why, but in my mind, I imagine getting punched very hard in the penis when I said all this stuff. But somehow she's even more aroused. Yes! Yes! This is it, Jumpy. I don't even find I'm gonna die today. I'm gonna at least die with my penis out. That doesn't really seem like the sort of thing you'd admire someone for.
I'm really scared.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you've never done it before.
Yes, so I don't think I'll be able to last very long.
This just keeps going. Over?
Yes, I'll go to heaven.
Heaven?
It's kind of like you're floating in space. Your mind gets all fuzzy, like when you pass out. At least that's what I've heard from people who have experienced it.
Yes, I've heard that too. It's like, wow, holy crap. She has some kinky ass friends. Although I don't think the same thing happens to guys. It's just kind of.
What?
Huh?
But it would happen to men too, wouldn't it? It would happen to anyone. Once it gets into your body, the same thing happens to everyone.
Well, I mean, whoa, wait, no, see, guys don't do that, alright? When the semen gets in the body of a dude, no, this isn't right at all. Usually, doesn't go inside the man, I mean, generally.
Yes, it does. Well, eventually it will. It's not like you really have a choice. Your body will force you to swallow some of it eventually.
Oh my God! What are you trying to do to me? Oh my God, are you actually a man? Did you have a sex change up? Is there a penis down there? Let me see.
I'm not gonna do anything to you. I'm just saying that that's what happens. It's a psychological reaction to what you're experiencing.
Was that really how it happened? Oh my God! Occurred to Junpei that perhaps that was how it worked. Perhaps he'd been mistaken all these years. All the times I've been brutally masturbating in the bathroom. All these times. Turns out, I've been wrong. I haven't been doing it right. No! He misunderstood life so gravely. The thought terrified him. No. Wait, does that mean that in fact, I am the gay one? Because apparently you're supposed to do it with dudes, not with girls. What? No! Junpei seemed to be entirely oblivious to Junpei's mounting confusion and terror.
I know most men probably have larger lungs, but even though I don't think you could hold your breath for 20 or even 10 minutes, eventually you'd have to breathe and even the water would get into your lungs. Once that happens, your body won't be able to get oxygen in, and you'll start to feel that floaty feeling as you pass out.
Junpei's like, oh, buzzkill. God. Only Junpei understood. He understood what she was trying to say and why she was so scared. Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't last very long.
See?
She was afraid that only the elevator button pointed down. Of course. It's like the other option in that dialogue tree that I ignored. And of course, the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. As he thought about it, Junpei realized that he hadn't seen elevators on A or B deck near the central staircase, all of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to the lower decks. The floor below the one they were on, D deck, should be completely submerged. Oh my God. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh my God. When she said I'm wet, I was like, what? This is oh my Lord. Junpei was fucking ready. He was ready to go. Oh man. Damn it. I knew bringing a handful of condoms with me at all times Funny thing is, even when Zero abducted me, I still had that pocket full of condoms. What's up with that? It's like he wanted us to do it.
That meant...
Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us, right?
Well, yes, I guess it did. It didn't open right away after you pressed the button. There was a motor noise like it was moving, and then it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So take a look inside.
Junpei jerked his head toward the interior of the elevator.
Completely. It's not wet at all, is it? The walls and even the floor are totally dry.
Oh, you're right, they are.
Well, then again, the door's closed downstairs. But it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be watertight, so I guess it wouldn't. I don't know. So around the elevator, slightly embarrassed.
Well, let's test it. Here, you go first.
Ah! Test it.
Yeah, what's this?
Junpei with one foot in the elevator, bent around the corner of the door until he could see the floor buttons. There were only two, E and C. He pushed the E and jumped out of the elevator. The door still shut, and they hear the grinding motor as the elevator moved down.
See you later.
A few moments later, they heard the sound of the elevator door grinding open several floors below. Junpei nodded to June and pressed the elevator button again. A few moments later, the elevator returned.
Yep, we're good.
Door slid open, and just as Junpei expected, there was no water to be found.
See?
Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
June, however, still looked confused.
What does that mean? How can the E-deck be safe if the D-deck is full of water?
Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E-deck must be watertight and separated from wherever the shift's been punctured. Here, let me show you.
You pulled your pants down.
Oh, sorry.
He pulled out his notebook and a pen and sketched out a rough illustration.
I see. So the ship is shaped like a big dumbbell, and then the little wavy part, that's the ocean, right?
Yeah, now you're getting it. All right.
That's why a ship hasn't sunk. The shape of the inside keeps it from filling with water.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back into his pocket.
So I'm gonna go down and check it out. You stay here, all right?
But
Come on, just do it, all right? Good lord.
He gave June's shoulder a reassuring squeeze, then hopped into the elevator. Pushed the E button and began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as she was trying to make a decision, when suddenly...
I'm coming with you.
Huh?
Last possible move, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors. Junpei jammed his finger against the open button, but it was too late. The door had shut and he and June were in the elevator. It was headed down to E deck. Said it all the way down to Tuna Town. I mean, what? He was so surprised by June that he didn't even have time to think about what had awaited him on E deck. The elevator stopped and the door slid open.
Alright, hopefully...
And a whole shit ton of water came in.
Bad idea, bad idea. Up, up.
They stepped off onto the floor outside the elevator. Nothing seemed especially unusual. No fish going about their fishy no fish going on about their fishy business. Fishy, fishy. Or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. There was, however, a blowfish? Or at least something that looked very much like one. June's cheeks were puffed out. Her mouth tiny, intense frown.
Oh, knock it off. Just like I thought. This part isn't flooded. Come on, just look around. There's no water here.
June looked around nervously and then
Yeah.
exhaled. Oh, she held her breath. I gotcha.
You're right. It's not flooded at all.
See?
But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us. So just don't go poking any holes in the ceiling.
What's gonna happen if the ceiling breaks?
Junpei thought about that for a moment.
Well, we'd probably get really wet up there.
Huh?
Anyway, we should probably go back as soon as we can.
Once we're looking around down here.
We probably get really wet. Up here. You know, not down there. Lois and Sam might already be back.
Okay, good idea.
Junpei glanced around the room they found themselves in. The first thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room and separated the left elevator from the right one.
Well, we can't get over there.
Right.
Then perhaps, in the corner of the room that housed the elevator, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his hand around the corner. A long straight hallway stretched out in front of him.
The door at the end of the hallway, there's something written on it.
Yeah, let's go have a look.
Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip, and somewhere between a run and a jog. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was the number written in bright red paint. Numero 6.
Oh, I knew it.
This is a number door.
Indeed, there was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door. Of course, with only 2 people, there wasn't much they could do with it.
Alright, let's head back.
Yes.
Junpei and June turned and headed back to the sea deck. On the way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall. As it turned out, it was a burnt map of the ship's interior for E-deck.
Huh? So you guys found door 1.
They met back up with Santa and Lotus, who explained what they'd found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A-deck, just like the one on E-deck, beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door. All told, they had discovered 2 new doors, the 6 and the 1 door. Okay.
It is interesting that the edict wasn't flooded.
Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought.
Well, we don't really know if all E-deck is safe. We only checked the area surrounding the elevator.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
You said that the 6th door was there, right?
Yes.
And that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking. There would have been some pretty serious remodeling in the ship's interior.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Look how freaking excited my tits are. Yeah, I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have cost.
Must have been a ton, that's for sure. Well, it does go along with what Ace was saying. Most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash. Or some rich kid with a hot lot of free time.
Yes, it does make sense.
The thought made them all go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off into the distance at nothing. Wait, where did Ace go again? Oh wait, that's right. They want to go to see if they can find Snake.
I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here.
June looked at Junpei with large, pleading eyes.
Yeah, you're right. Ace's team might be back already.
Well, Junpei, I should be able to open door 1.
Huh? You guys leave me behind?
8 plus 6 plus 5, 19, 10, 1.
Just kidding. Haha. All right, let's go.
Those words are all the impetus that I can never know how to impetus. I've never known how to pronounce that word correctly. They needed. Back to the Arch Hospital room they went. Open sesame. Where you at, Ace? The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room. Hey! Where the hell you guys go? I knew it was gonna be 7. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back. It looked as though there was something strange about them. 7 had the look of a man who had seen a ghost. Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only moments away from passing out entirely. Uh-oh. I'm guessing Snake might not have made that or something. For a long moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7.
What happened?
Man, what the hell kind of question is that? 7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained. Snake is... 7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted. Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
Snake is... Dead. He died just as the ninth man did. Ugh! Whoa!
Whoa. It's as if all the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Ooh, damn, Snake. Ah, dude. Was it because he was blind? Like, he just couldn't, like... He was like, let's see, this door might be the way to go. Oh dear, it seems that my wristwatch is beeping. I'll just turn around and, oh dear. It seems the door is closed behind me. Alright, it's no big deal. Just gonna go ahead and, try not to panic and, oh god, open the door! Oh god, I'm gonna die now. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He felt cold sweat beating on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lois looked the way he felt. All three were frozen in place, faces white. Even Lotus was freaked out, good lord.
Ah! Oh god, that silly Snake. Oh my god, that's not true, is it? We should make sure.
Yeah, right, we should.
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door. Wait! Not that way! He stopped short and turned to look at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number. I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way. It's not locked, so you can go in that way.
Where is he?
Shower room on the left side of the hallway. Put a broom in there too, to keep the door open.
You can get him without going through the numbered door, right?
Yeah, that's right. New destination clear. Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Good lord, do you really want to go see that? What's in the hallway was easy to spot the middle door on the left wall. Hadn't been open when they had been through before. But now, just as 7 had said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame keeping it open. They looked at it for a moment, then stepped inside.
Ah, it smells horrible.
Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Well, what do you expect, dude? It has blown to pieces everywhere. Even Santa pinched his nose shut.
Yeah, this is pretty awful.
I feel like I'm gonna puke. It's just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. Hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour, smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. Ew! Ew! It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat, to pound against the entrance to his stomach. He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged. Ooh. Ow! LR. What does that mean?
Written in blood.
They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere. A few arms of the splatter reached towards them as they walked in through the door. All they do was follow the many radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider.
June, you should stay here.
But
Please, just do me this favor, okay? Alright? Come on, you like passed out when you saw 9 last time.
When he gave her a chance to say no, he put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole. Turned and walked toward the end of the divider. Felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Sam and Lois followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands in the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew in that instant he would take the image before him to the grave.
It's like, God, why did I walk in here?
Why did we have to check on this? What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. Oh, Lord. A vast ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti.
Ooh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting hungry. Wanna go get some spaghetti after this?
Ew! Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat and... Ew, God, I feel like I'm playing Corpse Party all over again. Left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it. Just like he said. Sam's voice was strange. Junpei suspected he was trying to hold down some vomit of his own. Just like the ninth man. The knitter in his braces set off the bomb in his gut. It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split up, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. His bracelets lay next to him. It seemed to hit the wall hard enough to shatter the display, which lay on the ground in pieces. Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Ew! Oh my god! His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, and the jacket with the yellow pipings, and the gray slacks. They were all familiar to Junpei.
No, Snake about it. About that. It's Snake.
Los's voice was unnaturally deep and strange. Junpei heard a catch in her throat. Ugh. Well, that scarred me for life, and I'm thinking Clover is going to be freaking flipping shit. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise of a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time, to put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly on her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces. Oh, poor Clover. Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the 9th man was. Seven lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and Seven. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at each of one of them in turn and continued. It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First killer got Snake to authenticate the red to open the door 3. Then they shoved him into it alone. Huh, the picture there, it looks like they're showing 2 people. Yeah, they're showing 2 people there, aren't they? So 2 people worked together to get Snake killed? Waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was over for Snake, but he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran to the shower room looking for the dead. It's a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Then it was only deactivated if everyone who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. And the 81 seconds after he was shoved in, that happened.
I see. So that's what you meant by the killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake.
So I guess somebody knocked him. I mean, they killed him, so then they wouldn't be the one to have to be sacrificed, I guess. Damn, who the hell did... I can't imagine any, I mean,
Except maybe Lotus. Wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
exactly. That means we're looking at multiple perps here. Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
But just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the red, I think. After that was when we noticed he was gone.
And that means none of us have alibis. We're all searching the rooms we've been inside, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer. Well, I doubt it. I doubt it was Seven. I mean, seeing as he's the one proposing this, I just can't imagine it's him.
Wait a minute! What are you talking about?
She seems shocked.
How can you say one of us is a killer so casually?
Not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't you calm down a bit, Seven? What are you going on to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants you to know. Wants you know.
What Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it?
I'm starting to think maybe it was Ace then. I don't know. He sort of put it away.
Any game has a winner and a loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers. Zero's trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Are you saying that Zero's trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That's why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Then does that mean the person who killed Snake?
Yes, almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us.
I don't know. I don't think I buy that. The thing is, he's pushing so hard on it. I think Ace might be part of that. Which would suck, dude. Cause, dude, man, I had a bro crush on you, man. You were awesome. You were the freaking man. Don't turn your back on me, man. Come on, grizzly old man.
Doesn't seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well.
But that would mean he was on the ship. Junpei hadn't really considered that. Junpei, if Zero had killed Snake, then Zero's on the ship with them. Zero's still on the ship with them? Of course. I don't believe that. He wasn't sure.
Hey, I'm just wondering about one thing. And what's that? How can you be so sure that Zero's on this ship?
His eyebrows shot up.
Really, Junpei, I confess I'm a little disappointed. Usually you're rather sharp, isn't it obvious? Obvious? How so? This ship. Huh? Zero said this ship several times he had addressed us. I am Zero, the captain of this ship. The purpose of this game is simple: leave the ship alive. As you have no doubt surmised, the ship has begun to sink. If you weren't here, he wouldn't say this ship, would he?
Oh, I guess so.
He was saying something like that ship, or the ship. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Ace's explanation made perfect sense. Junpei felt a little foolish that he hadn't seen it himself. So he was left with a question. It was one of no small importance.
If Zero's on the ship, where is he?
Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The sounds was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. And again, he heard the ghost moaning noise. Moments later, a person who looked more ghost than a human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone.
I think Zero is one of us.
Oh. Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? I was kind of thinking that earlier, but then I was like, I don't know. Maybe not.
Junpei said, "That's crazy."
It's crazy. Well, that's possible. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we would still need a second person. I mean, even did he change his device so you'd only need one person, or he has some special master key that that Zero can get into any door he wants to? I mean,
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason. No reason? You've got a great reason. And what's that? The bracelets.
he held out his left arm.
Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere, watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It'd be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
Huh, you got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nunnery game. All the puzzles here are all run by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why is that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Junpei left the question hanging in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered. So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd really be really hard for him to keep track of all of us, or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
Said when we were talking earlier. You said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright then, I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yeah, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? Fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake equals Zero equals one of us. Seven and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other. Pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lowe spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes. Isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh. Well, that's because,
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei. Stupid fuck.
In other words, you had only circumstantial evidence. I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know? Okay, I guess, yeah, Junpei was painfully aware of the eyes on him and their disapproval. Well, come on! I'm just throwing freaking possibilities. No one looked at Ace when they were like, somebody in here's a murderer. Freaking bastards.
I hate all of you. Just wanted you to know that. I hate all of you. And I'm actually Zero. Never mind. And I'm gonna blow you all up.
Try to find something else, anything else to look at. Just when he felt he could bear it no longer.
Oh, Saved by the Bell. The death bell.
They heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. 3 in the morning.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move on. We need to move on now. 7, Clover, and Junpei. I know how you feel, but you need to understand that right now it's important that we do trust one another, don't you? Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say inside. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something else very far away. We must go. We have very little time left. Ace's words put their feet to move. They all knew where they were going. The next destination was Mercury. We're going to Mercury. Alright, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here for now, guys. Anyway, God, I still can't get at that first scene, though. It was so funny. Anyway, like for if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe now to Hot Boy the CLP, where the days are always sunny and the vids are always funny. Until next time, guys, stay classy.